I'm a huge garden fan, and I'm really excited to present Lisha to you today. And if you love desert landscapes and desert gardening, this is going to be exciting. Well, hello.
Hi,
I'm so glad you joined me. uh, Tell our audience who you are.
I'm Lisha Astorga. I am the owner of Desert Straw House.
Desert Straw House, which is multifaceted, as I recall.
Yes. So most people know me as Desert Straw House Native Plant Nursery, which is part of Desert Straw House. So Desert Straw House is the property itself. So we have multi things going on here. So Desert Straw House started out as a straw bale house. Our main house is built out of straw bales. So it's an environmentally friendly green house. Um, and so one thing we do is we educate people on straw bale construction, why they would want to do that, the benefits of it, how actually to do that, and what it feels like to be in a straw bale house. Um, Another thing we do is we have a short-term rental. And so we have people coming from all over the world, really. And we try to educate them on how to exist in the world sustainably, and also what a desert looks like. So we have this caricature of what the desert looks like, and it's usually a saguaro cactus, and sand. And as we know here in the Coachella Valley, we don't have saguaros. Um, and so what we try and do is we immerse them and let them experience what our desert looks like, because our desert's awesome. But our desert doesn't really, we only have a couple of native cacti here. We're too hot and dry for cactus.
Mhm.
So we try and let them see that saguaro and cacti and sand is desert, but it's only one desert. It's not our desert. Um, we also have a native plant nursery, where I sell plants that are native to our local desert, the Colorado desert, and then also our ecoregion, so deserts like ours, like the Mojave Desert, the Sonoran Desert, that kind of thing. And then finally, we have education, and that's really where I shine. So education's my passion. We have demonstration gardens, we do tours, we do all of that kind of stuff. We have a website that, has education components on it, all of that kind of thing. So that's Desert Straw House, and that's who I am.
You through the native plant nursery and then came to learn about these other components. And although I'm not one that lives in a straw bale house, uh, your place is amazing. And tell me briefly, do you do some lecturing on that as well, or education on how to build one?
So we're part of a national registry that basically it's a registry of all the straw bale houses. So it's all the straw bale houses in the world.
Wow.
And so they give tours, that kind of thing. Basically
Mm.
promoting why you should have a straw bale house and that kind of thing. So we're on that.
Got it.
Um, when we're back open and we do tours, it's part of our tour packages, that kind of thing.
With respect to the native plants, you propagate and sell things that are really native to our specific desert. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. So we grow,
Got it.
we are not organic certified, because that's a whole thing. But we do use organic growing methods with all of our plants, and we grow the majority of the plants here on the property. So they're really acclimated and set up here for our local conditions. I mean, right now they're sitting outside there just in the heat. you know?
Yeah, that's right. They're not being shocked, being shipped in from, I don't know, somewhere else in California to a big box retailer, and then they die as soon as you put them in the ground.
Right.
It's a nursery during the summer, is that right? But you then focus on, your teaching and your,
So what we do, and this is part of our educational component actually. So the Coachella Valley has what we call our planting season. So what that is we have a very long growing season because we have really great weather most of the time. Even right now, it's a lovely day. Um, but it's there's only a window which is best to plant in. And the majority of that is actually in the fall because 80% of root development happens in the fall. But we want to get our plants in the ground. It's a certain amount of time before summer hits, before we're consistently over 100 degrees, because we want that root development to happen. And so what we do is if we close, you can't buy the plants from us. It takes that away. So we're open October through March. We're open by appointments in April because we do have clients from out of the area, especially, the high desert. Um, but we're only open for retail during that time. And then that's also when we do tours and that kind of thing. Because again, you don't want to be walking around the garden in the sun, in the heat when it's 100+ degrees. It's hot. Even for us locals, it's hot.
yes.
Um,
And speaking from experience, I have made the mistake of buying more than I can plant in the same day. And so It it makes perfect sense that if I buy a plant in June, but it's too hot out for me to plant it, it could wither or its chances of survival diminish. So I appreciate that. And then with respect to the opportunity to stay on property or in your short-term rental situation, is that year round or is that also something that's only during the fall and winter?
that is actually year round. We are booked year round. Surprisingly, people want to stay in the desert in the middle of summer. Go figure. It's 115 degrees and they still want to stay here.
Well, and I will tell you, I actually, advocate for, uh, folks thinking of moving here to spend some summertime here. So if they can pair that with an educational opportunity, all the better.
Yeah.
Have you say across all of your businesses is your most challenging.
A challenge in general, um, because all my clients are really great, but I think it comes down to education because even though the concepts of gardening, botany's the same, the concepts of gardening's the same, the concepts of wildlife, all of that are the same, how we do it in this desert environment or how wildlife behaves in this desert environment can be very, very different. For example, our planting season, like we just discussed, that's, very different than in other areas. Or vegetable gardening. We start our vegetable gardening in October. We plant our cool season crops in October. That's a little bit different. Our warm season crops in March. Um, we're a monarch monitoring. We do monarch larvae monitoring here. We're a monitoring site, one of only actually two in the desert, which we're really, really proud of. Um, but one really big thing
Wow.
is that here in California, you're not allowed to actually interfere with the life cycle of monarchs. It's against the law. Um, and so when we have clients who come and, monarchs are a big thing and planting for monarchs is a really big thing. And they really want to protect those caterpillars. And I'm like, you can't touch them. You cannot put a net over them. You can't do these things, and also teaching them that monarchs aren't just here for 6 weeks. They're here for 6+ months and they're breeding continuously. It's that education that is the biggest challenge. And these people are very, very knowledgeable where they live. And it's just getting them to undo some of that and understand how that functions here. If somebody comes with absolutely no knowledge, that's a lot easier than someone who comes with a lot of knowledge from where they're from. That's probably my biggest challenge.
That is so informative. Thank you. And ending these interviews with asking you, like, what's your hidden gem in the valley since you've been here a long time?
Well, I probably have two things. Actually, I'm going to give you three if that's okay, because I have three different things that I really love. I have a place actually up in Desert Hot Springs that I swear even the locals don't know about. It's Cabot Zursa Museum. Okay, so I see you've heard of it too. I love this place. He's one of the original, white settlers in the desert. They've got some lovely grounds, lovely little museum. It's a quick little, you can spend a half hour there, you can spend half a day there. They have indigenous artists that come in. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, to visit, to take friends who are in town. It's quirky, it's fun, it's interesting. So that's my even locals don't know about it.
Love that.
I
Love it.
have a restaurant in downtown Palm Springs that I think is kind of like a locals only. I never really see tourists there. It's hidden between Palm Canyon and Indian in the parking lot. Shanghai Reds, part of Farmer's Grill. Oh my God,
Never
so
heard of it.
good. Um,
Oh, oh,
Thursday through Sundays, they
okay.
have a
Awesome.
live band, like blues bands and that kind of thing. Such great. It's, if you're
Wow.
familiar with Fisherman's Grill, it's part of the Fisherman's Grill, but it's outside dining in
Yeah.
between, kind of like this courtyard. Great, great food. The final, my plant lovers, drive up 74. So through
Oh,
Palm Desert, up Highway 74.
oh,
Take a drive. It is the best way to start to understand plant communities and how elevation changes work. So you'll see where our desert habitat
yeah.
kind of ends, and then where you start to see the agaves and the lolinas and all of that start, and you'll see, how there's like a line of it. And then you'll see another line coming up of, you'll actually see where creosote stop, where our creosote stop growing, and you'll just see these bands of plants and you'll see how those plant communities work. And if you're looking at starting to understand how to plant things together and how those things work together, it's a wonderful way to do it. You don't have to go on a hike. You don't have to do any of these things. You can just take a lovely drive up 74. Be the passenger so you're not going over the line, you know. And then you hit up Idlewild, you know, take a walk around Lake Hemet, something like that. But it's just a wonderful, especially in the summer. It's really lovely. And wildflowers, you've got desert glow mallow on the side. It's a lovely, lovely drive.
That's brilliant. It reminds me a little bit. Well, I should say I have made that observation not on the 74, but going up to Joshua Tree, where all of a sudden you start to see Joshua trees when, 5 miles before there were none, or even 2 miles before there weren't any. And I've never thought of doing that on the 74, but that makes perfect sense. And it's a great way, as you point out, of seeing what grows at different elevations because you're
Right.
climbing when you're heading up that 74. Awesome. Well, thank you. I so appreciate this. Tell me, Lisha, how do we get a hold of you? What's
Um,
the best way to find you?
our website's probably the best way to find us, which is just simple, DesertStrawHouse.com. It has all of our contact information there. It shows what hours we're open, what days we're open, when we open for the season, when we close, um, everything. All of our contacts on there.
Very good. Thank you. I would normally close now, but I actually want to say one more thing. You're intimately involved in an annual or biannual local garden tour, right?
Actually, there's a couple of garden tours that happen. The one you're talking about is Desert Horticulture Society's garden tour, and I'm a sponsor of it. I used to be on the board of Desert Horticulture Society, and I used to actually put those tours together, which is how all that worked. But yes. Yes.
A lot of work.
So, Desert Horticulture Society is actually a wonderful organization to get involved in if you're interested in plants and that kind of thing. Um, so that is actually, you can just Google Desert Horticultural Society. Quick plug for them. Membership's $20 a year. They have multiple meetings, speakers at their meetings. It's a great organization. They
Yeah.
do 2 events a year. They do the garden tour, which they tour anywhere from like 4 to 6 gardens. It's been in Palm Springs for quite a few years, but they're looking at doing other cities. This is where you get kind of a behind the scenes look at gardens. Garden tours are a great way to experience and kind of see what your garden personality is, because all of us have a garden personality. Um, we all like certain things. And a lot of times when you move
Mm.
to a new area or you're new to a house or you just change over time. My personality's changed over time, and it's a good way to see. And also, I have various garden personalities. I like to go and see other people's gardens, and I'm also just nosy and like to see other people's houses. You know, it's a great way to do it. The other thing they do, back to my education thing, so that's in the spring. So that's or in March, usually about mid-March. In the fall, I believe it's usually late October, early November, they have what's called Desert Community Garden Day. And that is a free event. And that takes place usually mid-valley. I believe it's going to be in Rancho Mirage this next in 2026. I believe it's early November 2026. And that's a day where they have lectures all day. So you can go, free classes, I shouldn't say classes, lectures, you know. And then outside, so California Native Plant Society's there selling plants. I'm there selling plants. Um, and then you've also got booths from all sorts of things. Last year they had artists there. Um, but you've also got like Oswit Land Trust is there, Friends of the Desert Mountains, Bureau of Land Management. So all sorts of informational kind of things. Different organizations, master gardeners are there, all sorts of different organizations. If you're interested in the environment, gardening, or you're just maybe interested, you're not even sure if you're interested in, it's a great opportunity to kind of go around, see who's out there, and maybe learn a couple of things and pick up a couple of plants while you're at it. As far as garden tours, there's a second garden tour in our area, and that's up in the high desert, and that's in April. And that's Morongo Basin Conservancy Association, MBCA. And so that takes place every April. And that is another wonderful one. And even if you are down here in the low desert, still a lot of our plants cross over. And again, great to go check out people's houses, their gardens, and see what's going on.
I love that. I am going to do my best to find all of these links, put them in the show notes, and invite our viewers to join those organizations and come and visit you when you're open during the season at Desert Straw House. Look for these opportunities to go on garden tours. And I thank you again for doing this with me today. It has been so educational for me, as I'm sure it has been. Thank you. Hello. I'm so glad you're still here. Today's speaker expressed their opinions. My team, Keller Williams, nor I recommend you hire them. Instead, think of this as an introduction. We invite you to conduct your own investigation if you need their products or services. Remember, things on the internet live forever. Meanwhile, times change. The person you just listened to may no longer be engaged in their business. If that's the case, feel free to let me know and I'll remove this video. Lastly, I've intentionally disabled comments. This isn't a forum to ask questions or leave reviews. Consider visiting their Google page or reaching out to them directly. Thanks for joining us.